How come you're back there?
I don't know, because this is where I stopped.
Okay. What's up, YouTube? Out here doing another dual vlog with my lovely wife, JJ. What's up, JJ?
What's up?
So we figured we'd take this opportunity riding downtown here on a Sunday before the Holy Rollers get out of church to introduce you to Jennifer and say, hey, what's up? And let Jennifer tell you a little bit about herself. So tell them a little bit about yourself.
I think I'll tell them a little bit about myself.
I think you should tell them a little bit about yourself.
Just a little bit about myself. So I started riding, I guess, maybe a year and a half ago or so. And my first bike was actually a 2002, I think, Yamaha V-Star 650. And came across it because my sister-in-law knew someone who was trying to sell it. It had already been lowered, like, you know, it had everything that I needed to basically be able to learn and feel comfortable learning. So I got on it, did really well, kicked its ass, and finally was like, so, hey, Tommy, I need a different bike, man. And I wanted a sport bike, to be honest with you, but my problem with the sport bikes was, you know, a lot of them have a lot of power, and I was still kind of a beginner. But then then Honda introduced the CBR 500R, so I did some research on it and figured, you know what, yep, that's what I want. When I looked at it, definitely decided, yes, this is what I want. So went through the process of purchasing it, thank you, Tommy, and he brought it home for me. But the funny thing is, I'm only just about 5'1", so I had to kind of look at it. With shoes on. Yeah, with shoes on. So I actually had to look at it, sit in my parking space, and I still couldn't ride it. Tommy took it out the next day, had it lowered, brought it back, everything was cool, got on the bike. So now I'm full-blown tippy-toe on the bike, which is awesome. But yeah, man, that's how I came to get the CBR. Fully love it. Definitely would recommend it for, you know, beginners, intermediate riders, I guess. But actually experienced riders ride this too. I've seen them do races and things like that, and that's what I would actually love to be able to do is have a track day with my bike and see what I'm capable of and see what my bike's capable of. So that's how I became a rider.
Groovy. I've been riding all my life pretty much, and it was really fun teaching her how to ride. Because it was that little V-Star bike was an odd bike, but it was very good to learn on because you could flat foot both feet at the same time, and it definitely wasn't overpowered or anything, so it'd get you around. Did some long trips. We rode all the way down to South Georgia on that thing. Sure did.
Well, it's also kind of amazing to me, to be honest with you, that, you know, I started in the parking lot of the Civic Center in Atlanta learning how to ride that bike. And I had never ridden before, so that was my first bike experience ever. And I went from, holy shit, I'm in first, and woo, look at me go, to, you know, fucking balls out at, you know, 98 and shit. So that to me is kind of amazing how far I've come. But I learned a lot. I was smart. I took the training course, you know, all that stuff, and learned how to ride safely. So I've been able to get out of a couple of really bad situations in traffic, which is awesome. Because, you know, probably had I not had that course, I might not have fared as well as I did since I took the safety course.
I love this little curve here. Yeah, you've definitely learned quick and ride really well. Oh, just a little bit warmer and we'll be able to go into the mountains.
I'm really excited about the mountain rides.
Yeah.
Love going to the mountains, but I got to make sure all the sand and rocks, you know, I said this in the other dual vlog, I got to make sure all the sand and rocks are off because that sucks. I actually hit my first patch of sand yesterday on this thing, and it was one of those things where I might have slightly peed myself. It was that feeling, that split second of being out of control. Made it, didn't fall, had the bike, everything was cool, but you know, just be careful on that shit. It's dangerous.
Yeah, there's some right there.
See, it's waiting to kill me.
Left over from the snow.
Yep.
It's like the snow's here and gone in a day, and then the results of it are here for weeks.
Yep.
It'll be almost 70 degrees today, but we still have to worry about the sand and stuff left over from the snow. It's kind of annoying. Almost as annoying as this light not changing. Come on, man. Here it goes. 3, 2, 1. Yellow light. How you doing?
How you doing? Alright, so the whole how you doing thing. So Tommy and I were watching this YouTube video, and it's this dude, and his character is a woman named Miss Shirley. And you know, she's how you doing, you know, get some aluminum foil. So if y'all get a chance, Google Miss Shirley on, you know, on YouTube. Check that shit out. But anyway, so we had been watching this for a while, and we go into the Walgreens across the street from us. We're pretty inebriated. I'll just leave it at that. And all of a sudden, we walk in and we hear, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
And I look, and no shit, the name tag says Shirley.
Yeah, we've never gotten over that.
No, we had to go to the back of the store and pretend like no one heard us fucking busting up, and just laughed and laughed and laughed, and finally had to get composure enough to go up to the you know, to go back up to the cash register. But man, we were fucking shits and giggles the whole freaking time. It was nuts. But yeah, that shit stayed with us. We can't get over that. She's a very sweet lady, let me just say, very sweet lady.
Oh, she's awesome. She's my favorite one over there.
But it's, you know, it's definitely one of those, "Hey, Miss Shirley, what's up?"
Yeah. That's what I like about Midtown. It's got, like, the community feel of a small town,
Oh, yes.
but all the conveniences of a large metropolitan city. So, I definitely enjoy living in Midtown. I like being able to walk to things. We walk everywhere.
Well, I'm a transplant, so this is technically my 14th year here. In June, it'll be 14 years. And you know, when Tommy and I got together, he was actually living here, and I was living up in a very, very, very tiny town of about 400 people in Illinois. And we decided, hey, let's, you know, give this a shot. Are we going to be a couple? Let's check this out. So I came down for about a month, and you know, checked it out, all that kind of stuff. But let me tell you, the first week here, I was pissed. I couldn't find my way around anywhere. I had friends here, but they didn't live in Atlanta. One of them lives out in Snellville, so I thought, you know what, I'll go visit her. Drove around the block, like, well, I say the block. I went from where the house was to the Varsity, because I knew it was around the Varsity that I had to make a left. Unfortunately, my dumb ass kept making the wrong turn, and I never made it to her house, but I drove around the same fucking 4 blocks for about an hour, and I was so pissed, I started crying. Couldn't take it. I was like, oh my God, I am not cut out for this at all. So then I go back to the house, and I'm like, you know, I can't handle this, only to find out I had locked myself out of the fucking house. So here I am, breaking into essentially what is Tommy's house, going, oh my God, the fucking neighbors are going to call the cops, man. But I was able to break into the house, which probably doesn't say much about the house, but I was able to do all of that, and everything was cool. But I have come to love Atlanta. I love living in Midtown. Unfortunately, I have become one of those, you know, ITP people who kind of cuss
only when they drive slowly in front of us.
You know, so that's kind of the deal there.
Yeah, I think that one of the best purchases I ever did was buying you a GPS, the little Garmin
man.
unit there.
That's no shit. I'm sure everyone in Atlanta thanks you. Well, what I ended up doing was, if I wasn't too far away from home, I could say, hey, there's the Bank of America Tower. I know what side of it I live on. So I would literally just start driving towards it. But when I get out of the city, I'm completely hosed. I have no freaking clue where I'm at, what I'm doing, nothing. I got nothing.
I get a little confused once we get far enough out. I've got the immediate suburbs. Watch out for this sand. This is where you hit it yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I'm extremely geographically impaired. It does not matter. Never ask me for directions. Oh, shit, that reminds me. So Friday, I was walking home from the Marta station, and I'm up at North Avenue in Piedmont, waiting at the light. Well, my light turns green, and this car pulls up in front of me, and a lady whips open her car door. I'm thinking, I know this bitch ain't trying to kidnap me, because we're going to have some serious shit go down. But all she wanted to know was directions to the aquarium. I was like, oh, I got this. So I give him directions, and by the time I'm halfway up the block, I'm like, I sent them the wrong way.
That's what they get.
I totally did, and I'm like, oh my god, good luck, people, good luck. But I felt really bad that, yeah, man, if you ever see a chick on a fucking black, CBR 500, don't ever ask her for directions, because she will send your ass the wrong way.
Well, at least they got this going on.
I come from a town where the directions are make a left at the red barn. No shit. So, all these streets, I never had to pay attention to street signs or anything else until I moved here, and I still don't pay attention to the street signs. So,
yeah, well, just in case you do, we make sure that certain streets change names after they cross certain streets.
That shit's messed me up a few times in Atlanta. I'm like, what the fuck? They're like, no, really, Juniper turns into Cortland. Why?
Yeah. Really, Moreland turns into Briarcliff.
Exactly.
Promise.
Why?
Another curve I like. Except for this weird ass yield up here, so you gotta be ready for it. You're clear. Watch out for roadkill.
I see it. If we were in Texas, I could pick that shit up and eat it.
Now, that's the second squirrel I've seen this morning. We hadn't been riding very long.
They're having a bad day.
How you doing?
Doing all right. Oh, man. So, also, riding Marta home on Friday, I'm sitting there on the train, and there's these one seats that they face forward, and then there's seats in front of them that are kind of facing, to the side or whatever. So basically what I'm saying is they're made for people with no legs. So I always try to take that seat, because it's very rare that someone sits next to me if I do that. So I'm sitting there, and I notice the guy sitting in front of me has an incredibly large right hand. And it kind of started freaking me out a little bit. Like, I'm looking at it, and I'm trying not to act like I'm looking at it, but I'm fucking looking at it. And I'm like, what's with this guy's hand, man? Like, then I start noticing he looks kind of odd all the way around, but the hand, every time he would like gesture to the person next to him, I'm like, what happened to his hand, man? Why is that thing fucking huge? And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, it's just weird. So, the train goes up another couple stops, and he grasps the pole, that the seat's on, and he stands up, and then he hangs on, so the train doesn't throw him around or whatever. I'm like, holy shit, he's got fucking Marta hand, man. Like, that thing was made stronger from years of riding Marta. And then I start like, oh my God, is that what's going to happen to me? I'm going to have an incredibly large right hand. So I figure I should probably alternate between my left and my right hand, so I don't start looking all fucked up. but you know, maybe have 2 strong hands instead of just one. I don't know. It was fucked up. So if y'all see a guy wearing a nice suit, kind of an older guy with a very, very large right hand, you just remember that Jennifer's the one that told you about it.
I want to do some lane splitting. I want to split some lanes.
Oh, he was just kidding. He really needs to pull up.
These people drive so slow, they're driving me fucking insane.
So I got a question for everybody. And I probably already know the answer, but I'd kind of like to hear from you. So have y'all ever worked with a complete and utter douchebag? Like, you know, someone who takes their position to a whole different level, tries to act managerial even though they have 0, you know, managerial responsibilities. As someone who just kind of wants to be seen as important or whatever. Well, I did. And this guy was a developer, and he wanted to be management, but he wasn't good enough to be management. Like that was kind of the whole deal. And he was very much the kind of person who wanted notes on everything. And I don't mean like, hey, I'm going to type up some notes in Word and use technology, since I do work at a technology company. He was like, no, I want that shit in a spiral notebook, and I want graphs and, you know, all this other kind of shit. Well, we have scrum meetings every morning, and what he decided to do was to bring in a, you know, one of those big desk calendars and put that shit on the wall and say, whenever you are requesting time off, you know, I want you to write it on this calendar. Well, first of all, I fucking hated the guy. You know, I was professional when I had to be, because you know, you don't want to lose your job over some dick like that. But when he did that, I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I talked to a couple different people about it, one of them being my boss, and I was like, really? We're a technology company, and the same technology he used, which by the way was Outlook, to send an email regarding using the calendar.
It has a calendar.
I had the calendar.
It has one built in it.
Yeah. So let me just say, the guy not only put the desk calendar on the wall in the scrum room, he took a picture of the calendar and attached it to the email for all of us to see. So at this point in time, I'm already way fed up with the company and this guy for various reasons, right? And I already kind of knew that I was going to make my exit out of there. So I opened his email in Microsoft Paint, and I wrote, using the pencil provided in the application, I wrote what days I would be off and attached it to the email, hit reply all, and like I said, included my boss and the VP of the department, and said, could you please print this off, scan it, and email it to the entire department so everyone's aware of the days that I will have off. Well, I got an email from the VP that I had, you know, copied on the email saying, Jennifer, I get the feeling that you were irritated by so-and-so's email, or were you just joking? I'm like, no, man, I was totally joking, no problem. You know, like, why are you asking me that? You know I think the guy's a douchebag, but I'm not going to say the guy's a douchebag to you. So that's my story, man. Fucking douchebag emailed everybody with a picture of the goddamn calendar that he could have fucking used Outlook for to begin with. And my response to it was, I'll fill it out in Microsoft Paint, hit reply all, then say, please print this off and scan it, and then email it to the entire department so everyone's aware of my days off. My whole point to this was, okay, so I worked with a douchebag. I want to hear you guys' douchebag stories. Like, you don't have to name names, companies, all that kind of stuff. You know, that's cool, but I know y'all have worked with some douchebags. I'd love to hear your stories, even if it's like 1 story, 2 stories, whatever. Throw them out there.